Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Grapple YouTube. I'm Matty Edwards, and yes, I am back with my reaction for everything Saturday night's main event, which took place last night, Saturday, 1st of November 2025. And I stayed up for this one. I thought it was, said on my preview video, I thought it was 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock this was starting because of the clock situation, which I still don't understand. I think it's twice a year. We always end up with like a month stretch of shows on early. You know, AEW's been on early and Raw and SmackDown. But yeah, 11 o'clock p.m. UK time. This started last night on the YouTube. So yeah, I wasn't going to be going to bed once that started. So yeah, we stayed up live. We watched this, and overall thoughts before I go into each match, I thought it was a functional, dare I say, good show. Like, wasn't groundbreaking by any means. I think that the pacing was a lot better with this one. I know people, the first thing people moan about on these are the commercials, but there was no commercials during matches. They were strictly saving in between matches. They didn't feel like they were that long either. There wasn't much in backstage segments. There wasn't much in angles, which I was shocked about, which, as anyone knows who watches my videos, I'm always wanting that story and shenanigans after. But in a way, it was refreshing, especially for the main event, even though that was the one I was expecting all sorts of shenanigans. So it was a pretty functional, safe, dare I say, good show. And yeah, we'll go into each match as it comes in order here. The show kicked off with Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. And the added stipulation was put in on SmackDown where if Cody Rhodes got disqualified or counted out, Drew McIntyre would in fact become the champion. And I thought that was a good stipulation added because it got everyone talking. I know it was only 24 hours, but it got everyone talking, and even people thinking like experts and people all over the internet thinking Drew would actually win this one. Maybe they could go with that, and as obviously Cody wouldn't have to get pinned and it'll fit Drew's character and stuff like that. But no, pretty much Cody Rhodes did in fact win the championship. Retained the championship, and it was very much akin to the Saturday night's main event against Kevin Owens match that he had at the back end. I think it was at back end of last year, maybe earlier on this year. And it's just playing into this, leaning into Cody, where it's he's doing them heel traits, and it's kind of like, you know, is he going to turn heel? You got Drew McIntyre, whose character's obviously, you know, he whatever he says, it's the right thing in his mind, but this is genuinely in front of your eyes what's happening with Cody Rhodes. So it's I liked it, and the match itself, I thought it fit into, as I say, the stipulation that got put in on SmackDown. They worked it well, where they didn't go out the ring at first for too long. Cody nearly run into the referee. You know, he just seemed off it a bit with this other stipulation that he just was just that extra bit careful in his match, which played into Drew McIntyre taking over. And you know, what did we have in there? We had Drew, as I say, taking over in the heat section, but then you had Cody coming back with a disaster kick, a spinning Cody cutter. He's added that to his ribs. I thought Drew reversed that at first into like a Blue Thunder type move, but no one replaying with the commentators calling that he's trying to put an extra bit of torque and spin on that Cody cutter. He'll have to work on that for me. We had, you know, the belt coming into the ring, Drew McIntyre like putting that in there, like enticing Cody, and Cody trying to use the belt, but then the ref getting in the way, and then it drew it in a snap claymore, so it went like a full-on claymore. We had Cody taking a great bump off the apron through the announce table for the count out, the drama there of him getting back into the ring. And then we had which was a bit weird, which I'm not sure about yet, if it's part of the thing, or it genuinely was just like a miscommunication, the ref in the wrong place, where Cody's going to do is in the corner, top rope Cody cutter, but the ref was in the way, and then Cody stopped and like, I don't know if he like oversold it with like twisting his knee. It was just a bit weird for me. That it was a bit weird. I think going into the next spot, the ref was a bit early on his call for the spot where he gets, you know, avalanched in the corner. So I'm thinking it was that. But yeah, it was a bit scruffy at that point, but it did play into the finish. It did play into the finish. We had the Glasgow kiss. We had that chase for the belts that they like doing at the minute, the WWE, where like the prop or whatever's there and both guys are going for it. It ended up with obviously Drew grabbing all of it, but Cody then looking at the referee to see if he was still down and hitting that DDT onto the title to Drew McIntyre, and then hitting the crossroads and Cody Rhodes getting the 1, 2, 3. And as I said before, it's Cody just using them heel tactics, but justifiably. But he was looking over at the ref, so it's another little wrinkle to when someone else apart from Drew McIntyre does pull him up over this. Maybe CM Punk going into WrestleMania, but I like it, and it was a good match, befitting to the stipulations that got put in. So top work for me on that one. It was a different type of match in that regard. So yeah, I like that one. Moving on to the second match, was Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. And this was the right call. I know Tiffy's been protected with that. They had the knee injury a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown, and obviously Nick Aldis on the next 2 SmackDowns, and a little backstage segment just before the match of like, are you sure you're going out there? And Tiffy being that fighting champion, and yeah, I'm all 100%. I don't want to pull out of this fight. So you had that protecting Tiffy to a degree. But like I said, for a few reaction preview videos now, Tiffy has gone a bit cold as champion. Jade with the heel turn. This was the ultimate right call. Straight away attacking the knee. We had a big choke slam from Jade. We had Tiffy rebounding with a swanton off the top. But then it was just basically a glorified squash after that. We had 3 fall away slams, a big sit out powerbomb by Jade, 2 big normal power bombs, and then the Jaded, and then it was all over. It was just, as I say, complete glorified squash, but it was good, refreshing to see in a way. Not everything's got to be 50-50, not all the time, not everything's got to be a big long encounter. This was a good booking move for me, and Jade did need it, and we should be off to the races now. Still needs improvements in there, of course, but I think she's well better as a heel. Like, even on the mic on SmackDown, which I didn't think was a great segment to open the show, I thought Jade was the high point in that, and she only had a few lines. Because Tiffy was terrible in that for me, and she needs a bit of rehabbing at the minute, and hopefully getting a bit more edge to combat this in the rematches going forward. But I'd say Jade, the right call, great stuff. Off to the races with her as a heel now. Let her just keep that. I say rematches with Tiffy coming up, eventually getting to Bianca Belair return and winning the Royal Rumble, and we get that at WrestleMania. That's the way I'd go, and hopefully that's the way to go with that inbuilt story. Naomi as well. You can always use Naomi in the background and play off that as well. So there's a lot going on for them two going into WrestleMania. Thumbs up all around for me on that one. Next match, triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. Dirty Dom going up against Rusev and Penta. And just like I said on the preview video, Dominic Mysterio, this was just a showcase for Dominic Mysterio, really. He got the biggest reaction out of the 3 guys. I know Penta has stayed over to his credit. Rusev, not so much. But Dom's he's just got it, hasn't he? Like, as soon as he comes out, the fans stand up. They know you're in the presence of a star, and he's just great. He just looks that moody Muzzy is just vile, and I just love that little wrinkle to the character, just the way he carries himself. He knows it, and he's fucking great, and he is improving in there as well. And I know it's all this playing off the Eddie Guerrero tribute stuff, but it's really good. He pulls it off. I even like that silly bit in the middle of the match where he threw the chair to the referee, trying all these shenanigans, and the ref was just, sorry, he threw the chair to Rusev, didn't he? Trying to say, oh, Rusev's going to hit me with it. And the ref was like, well, it's a no DQ match. It's a triple threat. Go for it. I love that. Just the fact that he got too cocky, got too carried away. Rusev started unloading on Dom, unloading on Penta. Then we had, it picked up near the end. We had a great looking Penta driver to Rusev. I didn't think he'd go the way he spun on it and landed. That was lovely. Then we had the accolade, and just as Rusev thinks he's going to win, as Penta's going to tap out, the bell rings, and Rusev still thinks he's won. Looking at the referee, I knew it's Dom ringing the bell to stop Rusev in his tracks. We had the bell hammer, which has been a part of his shtick lately. That come into the ring, Penta grabs it off Dom, goes to it Dom, he moves it hits Rusev, knocks Rusev out. Dom posts Penta, and then hits the frog splash on Rusev. And Rusev, to be fair, you know what I mean? According to reports, didn't like doing jobs in AEW, but will come back to do jobs to the stars in the Fed. He's a good lad. And he took the frog splash, 1, 2, 3. Dominic Mysterio, still your Intercontinental Champion, a showcase for him. And it keeps him strong for the rumored John Cena match coming up at Survivor Series, which we'll get into more about John Cena right about now, because after this match, we had the announcement of, obviously within the closing stretch, big advertisements for the John Cena's last match on Saturday night's main event, December the 13th, from Washington, D.C. And everyone's speculating who's it going to be his last opponent. You know, as I say, we've got Survivor Series in the meantime to have another match for Cena. But it was announced that a 16-man tournament, John Cena himself announced on a video package, a 16-man tournament will begin a week from Monday in Boston, Massachusetts. The last time Cena will go from his home state, and 16 men, yeah, superstars from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and to get the internet buzzing and chatting and causing all sorts of engagement. He said, and even guys that don't even work here. So the speculation will run wild over the next few weeks. And I like this. It's paying homage, like Cena saying he had the chance coming out against Kurt Angle. He wants someone to step up on his last match. Typical befitting to John Cena. But hopefully in the meantime, with that, and I'm flip-flopping in between, but it's part of the story, is like, how do we get to that Dom match? Does Dom lose a tournament match? Because he was on the video for the tournament. Do we just get John Cena saying he wants to complete the Grand Slam with him being the Intercontinental Champion? And that's the only title he hasn't won in his career. There's loads of ways you can do it. And yeah, I'm intrigued by the tournament. It's an easy booking tool over the next month as well to get some good matches out of it and some surprises, etc. So yeah, thumbs up for me on this one. We get Cena, as I say, in Boston. We got Cena on last appearance in Madison Square Garden coming up in November as well, before Survivor Series. And then, yeah, on to that last match next month in Washington, D.C. So the next month, and rightfully so, even though I'm not a John Cena guy overall, even though he has won me around, as people will have found out watching these videos, it will be a good next 6 weeks, shall I say, heavily focused on John Cena, and rightfully so. So all that to look forward to, all that good stuff. And then we get to the main event of the evening for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship, vacated by Seth Rollins' injury, of course. We had CM Punk going up against me man, main event, Jey Uso. And this was, if I'm being totally honest, this was a match of two halves for me. Like, the first part of this match was very, very slow. I'm not saying everything needs to be 100 miles an hour from the off, but this was very slow, and it exposed Jey for me. Like, I know he's not the greatest wrestler in the world, and people have been coming down hard on him after this performance, but I think he didn't look good in this. Like, and CM Punk was visibly actively carrying him during these like chain wrestling portions of the match where it was a bit slow. And then, yeah, I can't stick up for me man there. But then once we got to the middle of the match, and then the spots started coming and the layout started coming a bit better, where it weren't just your slow chain wrestling. I think that's where Jey did step up. Part of, we had obviously in the early section as well that neck breaker spot where Jey just fully rotated and didn't take a bump, and then Punk booted him in the air. That this was AEW or the old Punk. It might have dragged on a bit longer, that receipt section, but thankfully it didn't, because he's a good friend with Jey from what you read. But they did get back, because in the end I thought this turned into the dramatic babyface versus babyface match, and we had all sorts of good stuff. We had Uso super kicking basically each other. Like, Punk hit the GTS and Jey fell out the ring to protect that, and then we had Uso doing the super kick spear, Uso splash trifecta, which CM Punk kicked out of. Then we had the big dive from Jey. We got the spear through the barricade, which is a obviously replayed spot in WWE, but in this sense it did make sense, because it was Jey obviously turned into that Roman Reigns figure, and Punk calling him Little Roman, so it's that little wrinkle there. We had a GTS kick out where I definitely thought it was over. We got Jey actually kicking out visibly of the GTS there. We had a GTS by Jey, which was immediately countered by a spear by CM Punk for another great near fall. And this bit, it really, really did pick up. The fans were into it at this point. Really dramatic stuff. We had the GTS counter, but then with Punk like let you fold all over you again, as if you can hit a second one. But Jey turned that into a sleeper, which was a great spot. Then Punk reversed that into an Anaconda Vice for the tap, but Jey got to the ropes. We had the crucifix pin out of another Anaconda Vice, which was another great near fall. And then eventually and ultimately CM Punk did it, the 2 GTS combo, and did in fact win the World Heavyweight Championship. And it's a good call all around. CM Punk has been the most overstar, hasn't he? The position as the biggest star, especially with Seth down now and Roman in and out. Jey Uso, you can play in the loss into his story. You know, he's put Instagram stories up with a middle finger saying you're right, or you know what you deserve. So we can lean into that as well. Jimmy giving him a good talking to over the next few weeks, which will all eventually play into War Games, Survivor Series, which is in fact 4 weeks away. But overall, I was happy with this match. Once it picked up, it was a bit sluggish and a bit slow early on, but it did pick up into a really good dramatic main event. And as I say, CM Punk, the rightful champion. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out over the next couple of months. Does the Bronze challenge him? How does it all fit in when Seth comes back? Does the Rumble, WrestleMania? A lot that we can't, which is what I've been saying, like, and I was a bit critical of it in a way, but I will give them the benefit of this time with Seth's injury, so they are pivoting. So it's like, we don't know what's coming for. It's going to be dominated by the John Cena stuff, and War Games is an easy booking tool. But after we get out of that and we get into the Rumble, it'll be interesting to see who's positioned, who Punk's in there with, what the WrestleMania plans eventually will be. So that's all to come. Looking forward to after John Cena retires. But overall, good babyface match with no shenanigans, no interference, no like ref bumps, no shenanigans, just a basic 1-2-3 victory, a clean 1-2-3 victory. So I was happy. So overall, big thumbs up for me. I think the pacing of it was good. There was no letdowns on here. It all had meaningful. We had obviously the showcase for Dom, 2 new champions crowned. We had Cody leaning into his heel stuff. As I say, not the most amazing show, but definitely positive for me, and a lot looking forward to as we go into the end of the year. As I keep saying, mainly covered by John Cena and his eventual retirement. And yeah, it'll be an emotional time, folks. So as I say, thank you for sticking with me for this reaction video. Leave your comments in the comments section, of course. Join us on the Grapple Discord. Leave everything there. Like, hype, and subscribe this video. Help us grow this channel, of course. We want to grow this channel so we can keep on doing these videos. So, as I say, hopefully everyone's enjoyed it. Hope everyone has a good rest of the week. I'm Matty Edwards, and I will catch you again on the next one. Take it easy.